We think spend the money better. They think raise taxes. On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style, we've got a lot to talk about on this particular episode. Certainly, USAID is going to be a huge part of this. Got some awesome confirmations kicked in, and one of them's hitting the ground running big time. Also, this deal in the Middle East, very interesting. What's going on, what Trump's talking about, how this is playing out, what might happen. We got a few things to cover. We got a lot to cover news-wise. Got a few angles to cover that particular story from. Let's get into it. We've got to start off. I wanted to say this was sort of funny to me. Justin Trudeau posted this. Now is the time to choose products made right here in Canada. Well, he'd say it more like, now is the time to choose products made here right in Canada. Check the labels. Let's do our part. Wherever we can, choose Canada. And then Sunit Kaur said, check the label for our prime minister. He was made in Cuba. Yeah, but yet you are here. I don't know, fun way to start things off. I want to remind people of this. This is just some good stuff that came from good old Tori Says. Good young Tori Says, I should say. I think she's younger than me anyways. There's an interesting site. It would be on this top right here, archive, and then the last words today, and there's a dot between them. I'm just saying it that way for a reason. What I want to do, and I tried it, and I don't want to show it, but I tried it, and it works, and it's exactly like what they say here. So if you find a website, a story that's posted, that's awesome, crazy, whatever, but you're like, dude, we got to hang on to this because this might go away. All you do is you go to that website in your browser, you click the address, the website address, right? https:// right? Highlight that whole bit of nonsense. Drop it in this red area right here, right? And you click save. And then immediately it opens up an archived version of that. That archive is forever saved on this archive, and the second word's today, and there's a dot in the middle. It's saved there forever. Oh yeah, and the other cool part, and I did this as an experiment for you guys to enjoy right here. Oh, did I? Or did I take it down? I did. I took it down, didn't I? Oh no, kind of didn't. Sort of didn't. Well, okay, let's put it this way. We'll show you real quick, I guess, because see, this has this whole paywall thing. It's unfortunate. It's very bummer. It's Wall Street Journal. They're a bummer. But what's kind of funny about the whole thing is when you like I said, go to this particular site. I hope you guys make use of this. It's the only reason why I'm spending so much time on it. Yeah, there it is. All right, so it pops up. And I paste that in here. Boom. And I'm not a robot. Oh, I get to prove this bicycle, right? Let's get some bicycle parts. Let's see. All right, stairs. These are always tricky, right? I feel like I'm going to fail. But we're trying our best to verify we are not a robot. And boom, forever this story is saved. And no paywall. Isn't that an interesting little how do you do? Something to keep in mind, folks. We, the media, put this out, and they do some pretty good work. I like it. Movement to oppose the early actions of President Donald Trump's administration is taking off online. Today was supposed to be their big protest across the USA. We're going to shut things down. Well, they said it in a much more soy boy girly voice, but we're going to shut things down, Justin Trudeau says. And what we've come to find is, so far anyways, not a lot of shutting down going on. Maybe there's a couple freeways that we'll see what they manage to do. But my point is, there's not very many of them. We certainly have more to worry about with the people that had streamed across our southern border for the last eons rather than some of the retards that are living in mom and dad's basement. This was posted and very funny. Alex Soros reposted Chuck Schumer's post that he said an unelected shadow government is conducting a hostile takeover of the federal government. Alex Soros reposted that. The deep state themselves posted that we're more deep stating them than they've deep stated us. I don't even know what that means, but it seems to be happening. Black Hawk helicopter, the one that crashed into the airplane, being flown by a lady, it seems. Don't know for sure whether she was flying or the other gentleman was flying. Whatever the case was. Flying too high. Definitely. End of story. This is what the NTSB has said. Flying too high. They should have been flying lower. They wouldn't have hit a said airplane had they been flying where they were supposed to fly. I'm not sure what Pete Hegseth's going to come out, but he's obviously going to have some pressure on him to deal with that in some way, shape, or form. Gavin Newsom goes to the White House to beg for federal money after legislature passes anti-Trump spending. See, he's got kind of a tough place right now. One, voter IDs was a thing that Trump said must happen. You got to give people a chance in California. And there's no way in hell that Newsom, being part of the four families that run this state and own this state and have for decades and decades, they're not about to give it up. But Trump knows that. And he knows the second he gives us a fair election in California, we're free. We're free. We're free at last. You guys don't even need to carve us off into the ocean anymore. Maybe. I don't know. You can still do it, though, if you want. But Governor Gavin Newsom's head of the White House because, well, he's passed legislation that's actually going to go anti-Trump. Legislation to sue Trump and legislation to defend or sue for the immigrant stuff. Yet he's going to come running to Trump for money. It's like, what, you're spending money to try to sue me, and you're saying you need money from me? Like, how does that work there, Gabby boy? I don't know if what cool nickname. I mean, Newscom, obviously, but he's been trying to be cool to him, or about him, sort of. Trump's been a lot better, though, right? I think so. We've got a bunch of people that have been confirmed, are being confirmed. We've got some confirmation details coming up. Doug Collins, he got confirmed for the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Good stuff there. Also, Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi. You can't even not do it, right? She got 54 against 46. She passed through, obviously on partisan lines, passed through the Senate. Pam Bondi is our Attorney General, and she's hitting the ground running. We got two kind of solid things to share with her. Attorney General Pam Bondi will issue several major directives on her first day leading the Justice Department, including orders to combat the weaponization of the legal system, make prosecutors seek the death penalty when appropriate, and work with the Department of Homeland Security to, quote, completely eliminate cartels and transnational criminal organizations. Bondi issued a directive regarding zealous advocacy. Bondi said DOJ attorneys' responsibilities include aggressively enforcing criminal laws passed by Congress, but also vigorously defending presidential policies and actions on behalf of the United States against legal challenges. Bondi is set to establish the Weaponization Working Group, which will review the activities of all law enforcement agencies over the past 4 years to identify instances of politicized justice. Meanwhile, Bondi also will end the moratorium on federal executions and order that federal prosecutors at the Department of Justice, including U.S. Attorney's Office, seek the death penalty when appropriate, specifically with the focus on violent drug offending crimes. Bondi also ordered that the Justice Department, quote, reevaluate instances of the prior administration's electing not to seek the death penalty, end quote. Bondi also is expecting to rescind any DOGE policies that are, quote, not sufficiently in line with President Trump's death penalty executive order, end quote. She's also saying, and as far as for illegal migrants, Bondi has directed the DOJ to pause all federal funding for sanctuary cities. Bondi also has directed the DOJ to identify and evaluate all funding agreements with non-governmental organizations that provide support to illegal aliens. Money is being shut down on so many fronts right now. The deep state is starving. There's very little time, frankly, before they're going to do something crazy or can or won't be able to. I mean, this is it. They're running out of runway. No question about it. Trump administration 2.0 confirmed thus far. Of course, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Scott Bessent, Treasury, I should say some of these things. I guess Pete Hegseth, Defense, Pam Bondi, Attorney General, Doug Burgum, Interior, Brooke Rollins, Agriculture, Howard Lutnick, Commerce, Lori Chavez, DeRemer, Labor, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he did in fact get in, HHS, Scott Turner, Housing, Sean Duffy, Transportation, Chris Wright, Energy, Linda McMahon, Education, no, I'm saying that wrong, right? Whatever. Doug Collins, Veterans Affairs, Kristi Noem, Homeland Security, Susie Wiles, Chief of Staff, Lee Zeldin, the EPA, Tulsi Gabbard, National Intelligence, yep, she made it, Jamieson Greer, Jamieson Greer? Weird spelling of it, but probably. Elise Stefanik, UN, Kelly Loeffler, small business, Russ Voigt, Vought. I don't know. It's how thought spelled. I don't know how to say his name either. One of these days I'm going to hear somebody say it that I should trust. We'll find out. But the way it's spelled, right? Vought? I don't know. John Ratcliffe, CIA. Awesome. Great people. Great stuff. We'll learn their names or pronunciations of their names. In fact, I heard a legitimate news person the other day saying someone's name wrong. I can't remember who it was, but I was like, what? Wow. All right, I'm not the only one. Senate committee backs Tulsi Gabbard, so she is definitely in. We sort of already, spoiler alert. Yes, and Howard Lutnick made it in. I probably should have done that other slide a slightly different order, but spoiled all over it. Scott Turner, again, confirmed to the HUD. There was a comment I was going to make, and filters sometimes work. Interesting as that works out. RFK Jr. passes committee vote. He's in, and I think he's actually, I think he's further than that at this point, but RFK Jr. is in, and pharma stocks are less happy than they were the day before, that's for sure. Gold and silver are definitely positive at the moment. Also platinum and palladium for that matter too, but at 28.61 right now for gold, 32.24 for silver. Again, stuff's going up and up, up and up. Stock market's doing, got NASDAQ's down a tiny bit or flat, S&P's flat, Dow's basically flat, but again, they were up to 50, weren't they? Wasn't the Dow up to 50? Holy crap, it went down to 44. How far up did that get? Let's see if we can year to date. I feel like it was higher than that at one point. Okay, all right, 45 maybe. That was the big number it got to. I think it says that too if I actually pay attention. No, it doesn't show the high. That's the gold thing. Anyway, very exciting stuff. But here's the thing. The world's getting super crazy, and Trump is making a lot of movements. Funding's being cut off to a lot of different things. As we're going to find out, Politico actually falls into that funding problem. Literally, Politico. Politico was getting over $8 million from taxpayers. Think about that. Politico, I don't know if that's even a stock that's traded, but think about how much of this money was going to places, and this is literally what was keeping them afloat. Probably quite a few. Things are going to get weird. And China, with what's going on and where money's invested, and a lot of things are going to be interesting. Trump's obviously bringing a lot of money in. That's going to kind of go to the stock market to a large extent, or at least some of these companies that are going to be directly involved. So certain places are going to be good. Certain other places are probably going to crumble. This is going to be one of those places where you want to consider diversifying some of your 401k or IRA. If you got a bunch of that from one company, right, and you've been dumping all your eggs into that basket, and it's quite a decent basket at this point, I would highly consider diversifying a chunk of that into another basket where it's actually performing super well, and every time there are crazy things that happen in the economy, gold and silver always spike at those times. This is a really good time. Plus, up to 10% free silver on just whatever the face value is. There's like steps to it, but that's up to 10%. Pretty friggin' awesome of free silver. Silver, they're saying, is very underutilized and underappreciated. We'll see again where a lot of these things head. The next year or two is going to be very, very telling in the big picture. You don't want to be caught on your heels. You want to actually get ahead of this. You want to make sure you're in something that's going to appreciate and has been very nicely, especially over the past few years. As things have gotten worse and worse, it's actually gotten better and better. Gold's up almost, it's almost $1,100. It's up. I want to say it was close to $1,700 back when COVID was happening. It's at $2,862. It's gone up a bunch, and it's still going. We're not done with the craziness, and then if you think about maybe the Federal Reserve and all the crazy that's going to happen around that, there's a lot of things to talk about. Now, I love this company, Goldco. They are fantastic, but they don't believe all the nonsense I talk about. That's like my opinion and all that, right? What they're really super good at is actually helping you do this tax-free, penalty-free, answering all your questions. And again, they have the highest price buyback guarantee. So if you want to sell some of your precious metals or sell them back and or get some payout, if you will, they've got some of the highest price guarantees that are out there. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. 4 data points, potential maybe quick phone call if you don't mind, so maybe do it when you've got a second. It's going to pop up a number. You're going to get a free Ronald Reagan coin if you call within the first 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. It's put in those data points, get your gold and silver kit, learn how you can divest some of this stock cash money into precious metals, which are doing amazing, and you can do it tax-free and penalty-free. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. All right, what I'm calling it's maybe not so much funny, but it kind of is. USAID is a huge part of this chunk of stuff. And again, it's funny how this is playing out. I've got a bunch of audio and video, I should say, of a whole bunch of different Democrat people in Congress that are fighting, and so pissed off about what's happening and absolutely hate Elon Musk. We're going to stream those together. I'm going to cut them post-production, so it just kind of plays all of them. But I've got to click each one. I think there's 6 of them, 7 of them. They're all reasonably short, if you will. But that's going to be very telling. It's going to build some of the picture. All said, we're going to start right here. Most U.S. agencies for international development direct hire will be placed on administrative leave globally at 11:59 p.m. on Friday night at midnight, just before. Everybody across the globe are going to be on hold. The announcement comes days after Elon Musk said President Trump has agreed to shut down the agency. The order affects all USAID direct hire staff, with the exception of designated personnel responsible for mission-critical functions, core leadership, and specially designated programs, per the statement. Essential personnel are expected to continue working and will be informed by agency leadership by 3 p.m. Thursday, per the Post. So if you don't hear from anybody and you work for USAID, and if you don't hear from anybody by 3 p.m. Thursday tomorrow, just consider yourself fired. You better grab your ankles, as they say, and see if you can kiss your own ass goodbye, because that is about to happen to you. All across this great land. Schumer is freaking out. Here's where I'm going to just start playing all these knuckleheads, and then I'll chop them up and make them pretty. But yeah, we've got all these people talking crazy stuff. Check it out.
And we cannot allow Elon Musk and a small group of people to secretly, behind closed doors, take away our privacy, take away our dollars, take away everything we have. We are going to fight this fight. I am going to stand with you in this fight, and we will win. 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 We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest.
Okay, you can't just change a chant in the middle of it, you tard. Anyway, sorry, guys. I said I'd stream these together. I might have to throw some commentary here and there.
We will see you in the courts, in Congress, in the streets. Elon Musk is a Nazi Nepo baby. A godless, lawless billionaire who no one elected. Elon, this is the American people. This is not your trashy Cybertruck that you can just dismantle, pick apart, and sell the pieces of.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth. Just felt appropriate at the time.
Take this. We will not take this. We will fight back. Fight back. Fight back. And as I close out, because I know we've been out here for a long time, and goddamn it, shut down the Senate. We are at war. Anytime a person can pay $250 million into a campaign and they be given full access to the Department of Treasury of the United States of America, we are at war.
Is that why Democrats have nice skin? Because the tears? Is it the tears of libs is so good for skin? Hard to say. Here's our friend Pirate Dire, matey.
Are you willing to fight day and night, dawn and dusk, to fight Elon Musk and take our government back? My friends.
Do you think he was trying to rhyme there? It felt like it. Felt like he was trying to do a rap song and just kind of failing at the idea of a rap song. I know I wasn't going to talk, but come on, guys, it's me.
We're going to tell Elon Musk, now listen to me. Get your hands out my pockets. Say it with me. Get your hands out my pockets. 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 Get your foot off the Constitution. Take your foot off my neck.
It's very cool how many of these people have no idea what they're talking about, because the Constitution had nothing to do with this. It was formed back when Kennedy was in office. Kennedy actually created it. Congress created the need for an organization to do this, and then the executive branch created the organization. That organization is corrupt. Some of those tasks should continue under new organization. Old organization, bam, brought down, controlled demo, like Building 7, right? That's what's going to happen. A lot of people are freaking, and it's kind of glorious to watch, frankly. And you got to love the fact that the rabble-rousers are right in the middle of it all, too. These people are going to be in big trouble.
People, and we are going to get you your money back. And we are standing in front of this building because, get this weekend, an army of unelected, unvetted, unconfirmed, unknown children broke into this building to steal your money, steal your data, and steal our democracy. And that group of unelected, unvetted, unconfirmed children were acting under the orders of an unelected, unvetted, unconfirmed man-child billionaire who is trying to steal from you. And we are not going to let it happen. We are not going to let the cruelty of this man win. The cruelty of stealing from the people to pay for a tax cut for himself. To steal food from children to pay for a tax cut for himself. Medicine from seniors to pay for a tax cut from himself. Your data to get money for a tax cut for himself, and our democracy for a tax cut for himself. We are not going to let that happen.
Literally taking the food right from your hand as you try to eat it is what he's doing. Yeah, whatever. Rep Mike Collins, he said something pretty damn funny. I got laid off at USAID today. I was in charge of making the Taliban trans. Was really starting to make headway, too. That's funny, is what that is. Yes. In my opinion, of course. Jared posted this, and this has pissed a lot of people off, actually. And many would question its legality, but apparently this is at jaredmay76.bsky.social, whoever that is. The men carrying out Musk's coup are Akash Baba, Edward Korstein, Luke Ferrador, Gautier Cole-Killian, Gavin Kleiger, and Ethan Chautran. You try him. So all this said, we've got a Boston University employee, Jared. It's always a Jared. Remember the subway guy that was diddling little people? Jared. You shouldn't. With the name Jared, especially May, because May flowers. Oh, it's going to be a bad May for you. Jared has posted this call for 6 young DOGE employees to be murdered, wanted for treason, he says in here on his post. Well, that's illegal. That's not okay. Donald Trump Jr. posted this, quote, I didn't vote for Elon Musk, end quote. Well, cry harder, libs. We didn't vote for this clown either, yet he controls the Democrat Party. The difference is Trump ran and was elected in a landslide with full transparency that Elon would be doing exactly what he's doing. See the difference? Again, they're talking about Soros, Alex Soros in particular, the one that's married Huma Abedin, or is going to, isn't that the one? I believe so. But he is Schumer with the douchehole governor from Minnesota, with Kamala Harris, with Obama, with pencil neck Schiff. We got Biden. We got, looks like Michael Obama, I think that is. No, that's one of the ladies in Congress right now. Sorry, I don't know who you are, but you're always very, very angry and everyone's racist. And that's probably why I can't remember your name, because I'm so racist. And here she is with, it was accident. I didn't know he was there. We got Nancy Pelosi. I have no idea. I think this is the dude, part of the January 6th, right? Wasn't that guy? Whatever. I don't know. And then, no idea who the hell is that. Hakeem? Might be Hakeem. And then we got, of course, Pocahontas down there at the bottom, all hanging out with our boy Soros. Another fun picture from the past. I remember sharing this back in the day. Makes a lot more sense right now, though, doesn't it? Yeah, future proves past. We've been working towards these things. A lot of stuff comes out today that's going to become key in a few weeks, months. But Rep. Eli Crane reminded us beautifully, make it make sense. Tim Burkett, you can't make this up. Dude with an RPG, USAID, tent, everything says USAID. This was all paid for by USAID, or at least this group of people that are smuggling weapons, obviously, or Taliban-esque, maybe. What's USAID doing that for? It's not what it's supposed to be. Politico LLC, also known by two other names, but meh. They were awarded $8.1 million from USAID. Apparently paying subscriptions for people that can't afford them. But only for Politico. Where are my subs, man? Give me some subs there, USAID. Come on, that's not fair. USAID turned off. Suddenly, Politico can't pay their employees. Man, we're sorry about your payroll not getting taken care of, because they used to get monthly payments from USAID. And they were just using that for payroll, even though it was for other stuff. Subscriptions, not payroll. But I guess that's what subscriptions are supposed to go for. Whatever. Poorly managed, that's for sure. We can guarantee that. Here is some more. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt just being freaking awesome, talking about DOGE, the hated scourge that they are.
USAID has gotten a lot of attention the last couple of days with some of these bizarre things that we've been, taxpayers have been funding. Now it looks like there are a couple media outlets that have been dragged into this conversation as far as USAID funding as well. Does the President have any comment on that?
So upon coming out here to the briefing room, I was made aware of the funding from USAID to media outlets, including Politico, who I know has a seat in this room. And I can confirm that the more than $8 million taxpayer dollars that have gone to essentially subsidizing subscriptions to Politico on the American taxpayers' dime will no longer be happening. The DOGE team is working on canceling those payments now. Again, this is a whole of government effort to ensure that we are going line by line when it comes to the federal government's books. And this president and his team are making decisions across the board on, do these receipts serve the interests of the American people? Is this a good use of the American taxpayers' money? If it is not, that funding will no longer be sent abroad, and American taxpayers will see.
Here's the best part, Ripple Makers. This is the best part of this. These guys on the other side are fighting for wasting money. Literally. I don't know how you feel that groceries are too expensive? Yeah, I totally do. So why are you okay with wasting money to make transgender comic books and whatever videos? Why is that okay? Why do we care about that? Why are we doing this in countries that frankly don't like it, for that matter? Like we're rubbing them the wrong way. Let's call it that way. All right. So again, this is the direction they're fighting. It's fantastic. Do this all day without even trying. The right's fascism problem. This is Politico headlines. Fallout spread from racist rhetoric at Trump's MSG rally. Is Trump rally akin to Nazi rally? The state senator thinks so. Politico. $8.1 million of you and my money, we're MAGA people too, we don't even agree with this nonsense, was going to pay for Politico. No, Politico, you don't get any of our money. Make it or die on the vine like a pile of Yeah, like her, Andrea Mitchell. So she's stepping down as MSNBC's anchor on Friday after 17 years. Oh. I'm glad you did it at 17 years. Thanks, Andrea. Oh, or is it Andrea? Is it Andrea? I'm sorry, you're douchey. You probably Andrea. No offense to all you Andreas out there, but people get bummed out when it's like written Andrea, and you're like, hey, Andrea, and they're like, it's Andrea. It's like, well, how was I didn't see dots above it or some weird, I don't know. Feel like you should sort of let me know after. Well, before, better than after. Whatever. Republicans on the House Oversight Committee quickly quashed an effort by the Democrats to subpoena Elon Musk to appear before the panel to answer questions. They weren't ready for it, though. This almost made it to a full vote, which still wouldn't have made it, I don't think, anyways, but it would have looked funny. But they were able to kind of quickly go back, make some phone calls. Hey, dude, you got to show up. We got an important vote. And then they're like, oh, no. So they were able to stall the vote, I think, enough time so they could get some extra hands there to make sure they voted. No, frick, we're not bringing Elon Musk in. You smoking crack? Pass that on over. Puff, puff, pass, my friends. Not necessarily with crack, but federal prosecutors vow to protect DOGE staffers from any threats, confrontations targeting Musk. We talked about this. There's a group. He's ready. He's ready to go. U.S. Attorney Ed Martin. He's writing to everybody. He's like, look, anybody gives you guys anything, like, you know, that lady that was veiled threats, wanted dead or alive. Like, I don't know if she had the Bon Jovi song in the background. It would have been kind of appropriate, but still wrong. Well, this is a crime. DOGE people are being threatened. That used to be okay in the Obama world, but it's not anymore. And a lot of people are going to like freak out when they do stuff that they used to be protected for. But not anymore, because it always was illegal. Just now we're actually going to go after you for illegal stuff rather than make up stuff about me so you can go after me. Well, MAGA people, they hate America, so they hate democracy. That's the word they used to always use. Whatever. This is awesome. This is why Speaker Johnson should be Speaker Johnson. I think Speaker Johnson is doing an admirable job. Again, if he starts straying, I'm going to punch him. And I'm kidding. I would never strike him. I'm going to, I'll give him a crap ton of grief, right? Like, no. Yeah, I feel bad. But it's like, this dude's rocking, though. And I don't know if anyone else would do as good a job. That's just for the tiny percentage of people that like questioned whether or not. I'm just glad he's here. Anyway, Mike Johnson, good stuff.
Is there an inconsistency by Republicans on one hand where we've heard for years now, we want to not have unelected bureaucrats in charge of things downtown, and yet ceding Article I powers to the executive branch under Elon Musk? Is there not an inconsistency about calling for the elimination of the Department of Education, and yet we've heard from some of your colleagues here this morning, we don't want women be playing sports with men. And aren't you ceding back that power then as it pertains to education if you eliminate the Department of Education?
No, look, I got to challenge the premise of the question, Chad. You know me. I'm a fierce advocate and defender of Article I. I mean, we are the legislative branch. There's a reason the Founding Fathers put the Congress, the legislative branch, as the first article in the Constitution, and we're going to vigorously defend that. But what's happening right now, I think there's a gross overreaction in the media to what is happening. The executive branch of government in our system has the right to evaluate how executive branch agencies are operating and to ensure that not only the intent of Congress in funding mechanisms, but also the stewardship of precious American taxpayer dollars is being handled well. That's what they're doing by putting a pause on some of these agencies and by evaluating them, by doing these internal audits. That is a long overdue, much welcome development. That's what the American people demand and deserve. And that's what's happening. So we don't see this as a threat to Article I at all. We see this as an active, engaged, committed executive branch authority doing what the executive branch should do. They have broad discretion in all the funding, as you all know, because you follow this. When Congress funds an agency, they give broad discretion to the executive branch on how it's administered. They're using that authority right now in a way it hasn't been used in a long time, so it looks radical. It's not. I call it stewardship. I think they're doing right by the American taxpayer, and we support that principle. When it comes to the point of codification and legislation and all the rest, we'll be evaluating all those things. But right now, I think they're acting within the scope of their authority. There's be legal challenges. The courts will have some things to say about this. But as far as I'm concerned, Chad, this is not a usurpation of authority in any way. It's not a power grab. I think they're doing what we've all expected and hoped and asked that they would do. For years, members of the legislative branch in Congress, Senate and House have asked for details. They've asked for, the expenses of USAID. I mean, look, this is what was uncovered. 3 just quick examples. I mean, you tell me if this is unreasonable. Some of the stuff that the money was being spent on that we didn't even know. Crazy examples that came out. Look, $100 million on initiatives like expanding atheism in Nepal. That's what American taxpayers should be paying for? No way. Transgender operas in Colombia, drag shows in Ecuador? No way. The American people want us to, we have a $36 trillion federal debt. It is a serious threat to the future and security of our nation. We got to spend money better. And if this executive branch and this White House is going to take the initiative to dig in and find those details and expose them, we applaud it. We're all on board.
I don't know how not to love this guy. I just don't know. Right? It's crazy. U.S. Secretary of State Mark Rubio confirms the U.S. government is not eliminating foreign aid, but will instead redirect it to areas that is more effective.
You talk about the United States being a strong partner. China, of course, is doing aid projects around the world. When you have these drastic changes, what does it do to American soft power? Is there a question about the U.S. using leverage, perhaps because some of these programs are there? And also, you mentioned there are, of course, legalities involved in sending prisoners overseas. Who'd explain that? Obviously, there's the Constitution. What type of human rights protections would prisoners have if they're being sent overseas? Is that a question that you raised with President Bukele? And Mr. President, you're, of course, a development expert. How do you feel about the cuts in U.S. assistance or the changes in U.S. assistance, and how will this change worldwide and change with the competition with China? Thank you.
First off, what the fuck? Really? You're going to ask 75 questions? Fuck, man. Shit.
Well, let me just answer the first question. The second question is, again, President Bukele made an offer. We communicated it to the public. He communicated it to the public. We'll have to study it and see how something like that could even be applied. On the first question about aid, no one's talking. This is a 90-day freeze through which it allows us now to review programs. You know, before we did the freeze, we couldn't find out anything about some of these programs. And USAID in particular, they refused to tell us anything. We won't tell you what the money's going to, where the money's for, who has it, which contractor it's been. You know, in some cases it goes through 4 different contractors before it reaches the intended recipient. These are not my numbers. These are USAID's number. In some cases with USAID, 10, 12, 13%, maybe less of the money was actually reaching the recipient, and the rest was going into the overhead and the bureaucracy. This isn't my money. This is taxpayer money. So we're not going to eliminate foreign aid. We're going to have foreign aid that makes sense. We're going to have foreign aid that works. We're going to have foreign aid that furthers the national interest. We're going to have foreign aid that benefits our trusted partners and our allies. I am here today, we've issued a waiver today, because in Costa Rica we have a trusted partner and an ally who has proven that they have taken aid from the United States and used it to fix a problem, to help us, to do it in a way that actually helps the United States. They're stopping drugs. They're stopping criminals. They're identifying terrorists. This is foreign aid that furthers the national interest. Other programs we have questions about. But we've also issued waivers because we don't want anybody see anybody die or anybody be harmed in the short term. But we're going to conduct a review, and we are going to have foreign aid in this country that is going to further the national interest of the United States. If it doesn't make us stronger or more prosperous or more secure, we aren't going to spend taxpayer money on it. We owe that to the people of our country.
More secure. I like that. Makes me think of like, why are you always like hanging out with your friends, not me? Chip Roy posted this. What if I... There you go. What if I told you, Chip Roy says, awards and subawards identified to 3 selected Chinese entities, calendar years 2014 to 2021. So the National Institute of Health, the NIH, they were funding Wuhan University, EcoHealth Alliance, which we've learned, University of California, Irvine, bummer, Duke University, Regents of the University of California. All of these guys were pumping money into Chinese companies. All of them. Wuhan University, Wuhan Institute of Virology, Academy of Military Medical Sciences, which is CCP controlled. All of those things are CCP controlled. NIH funding them all. And of course, USAID funding University of California, Davis this time, not Irvine. Good stuff. EcoHealth Alliance, yeah, and both of those pumping money into Wuhan University and Wuhan Institute of Virology. Gain-of-function research we're thinking might have happened with this same money. Right. Fauci and or USAID. Or, well, other people tied in with Fauci. Let's be honest, but still. Laura Love, I should say, posted this. Who knew that many Canadian universities are receiving USAID money? Look at that. This will be an interesting line of inquiry. You betcha. as they say, you betcha. How do you say it there up to your Canucks, right? You betcha, right? Like, however you you guys do it better than I do, of course, but you punch a damn moose like nobody's business. I just watched a video of two guys actually messing with a moose, and then the moose started chasing after him. It's like, dude was filming it from far away where he should be, and two idiots were like, hey, yeah, it's just a moose. And like, are you guys from out of town? Like, even I knew, as a, one of the 50 state guys, not the 51st state, I knew don't mess with a moose. Whatever. You guys are tough. You guys play hockey. Shit. Anywho, you betcha. You betcha. You betcha. I don't know. Frickin' A. I bet some of the partnering on research to get IP and licensing is with Chinese government-connected firms. We already know the story at UBC and U Waterloo with their partnerships with Western U and their massive Chinese student programs paid directly to the administration as scholarships to the school. They've literally got the University of British Columbia that got over $1 billion. Hello. That's a crap ton. Governing Council on the University of Toronto, $800,000. Chancellor, Masters, and Scholars of University of Oxford, $755,000. University of Western Ontario, $500,000. Waterloo got $482,000. Saskatchewan got $469,000. Manitoba, $452,000. Toronto, $369,000. Auckland, $296,000. Queen's University at Kingston at $280 flipping dollars. You know who you don't see in there? Quebec, all right? Because it would have cost double. You had to do it in French and English. You got to pay us in French and English. That was kind of a small joke. Judicial Watch announced Tuesday that federal court has ordered the Department of Justice to disclose information on communications between Special Counsel Jack Smith and Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis regarding the prosecution of President Trump. It actually did hurt my soul a little saying it properly. I don't think I'm going to do that ever again. All said, we're finding out. What's up? Pam Bondi's in charge now. Oh, you're so bummed, Fanny. Oh, it sucks so bad. Your Fanny's in a freaking sling. FBI turns over details of 5,000 employees who worked on January 6 cases. That's actually a lot of people. They say there are more than 13,000 agents and 38,000 total FBI employees. 5,000 of those likely got one ticket to paradise. The 2 tickets to paradise. You got one ticket to long vacation, right? That's a pretty cool thing. I knew a guy that lived on a cruise ship because it was cheaper. Just taking cruises constantly and literally just lived on the same boat constantly, just worked from there or whatever he did. But yeah, weird. Liz Harrington posted this. Nearly 40% of all FBI agents investigated the regime's political opponents. Yeah. Rotten to the core. This is coming out about Acting Deputy Attorney General Emile Beauvais in a Friday memo with the subject line, terminations, had given FBI officials a noon deadline Tuesday to submit the names of thousands of agents. Beauvais previously ordered the firing of 8 senior FBI officials, including those who oversaw cyber, national security, and criminal investigations. More than 5,000 names were submitted, sources say. And yes, we talked about the key ingredients. Republicans grill FBI over troubling discrepancy about January 6 pipe bomb. Suspect still roaming free. Just keep this in mind, because odds are how they tell this, how this becomes public, how we come to this information will be interesting. But the gentleman who picked up and let them know about the following day sure does seem dressed similarly. Whatever the case is, probably the same guy. Of course, the FBI originally told us, well, we had bad cell phone data. It was corrupted. And all the cell companies were like, hell no, we're happy to pull it again even. None of it's corrupted. Zero corruption, home dog. FBI is like, yeah, it's corrupted. It just doesn't feel right. What do you mean it doesn't feel right? I don't know. It's like you're my sister or something. I don't know what they're going to say. It's probably something along that lines, right? Your cell data feels sisterly. It's the same frickin' dude. They know the one guy who showed up day 2. Just don't seem to know who that first guy was. Huh. Dude, this screams of corruption and the same person. They're like, I just wanted to clean up my mess. I don't want to just leave that out there and someone accidentally gets hurt. That was meant to scare people. It was stupid, too. It was a pipe, big pipe, and it had like a big giant timer wheel on it. Big, like a dryer, like the size on a dryer. You know, those good old school dryers where you turn the knob and shit. About that big. Like giant. The day of electronics, and he's like just giant-ass analog friggin' wheel on it. What the fuck ever? Get out of my face. CIA offers sweeping buyouts to entire workforce as Trump pushes to downsize government. Just firing a bunch of shit. We're getting rid of the bloat. A bunch of pussies, get out of there. No offense. You know, I know it's a tough word to some people, but get out. You're not there. You're dragging. Not that that makes you that P word. It's just, you know, like, get out. DEI and all that nonsense, get out. Soy boys, get out. No. Unless we're trying to infiltrate a soy boy group, maybe it's worth keeping some of those agents around that have soy boy potential, but aren't in fact actually soy boys. That might be okay. That might be. I don't know. We'll see. Federal judge in Maryland has issued a nationwide preliminary injunction against President Trump's executive orders aimed at ending birthright citizenship. So that we know that they're trying to stop. This is another place now doing it. So we've got two judges, District Judge Deborah Boardman. She heard arguments Wednesday over requested by 5 pregnant, undocumented women who were like, what? I want my soon-to-be born baby to be, you know, not that way. Now, what's funny and what's highly possible is Homan shows up, grabs these 5 ladies, literally takes them back to where they're from before the babies pop out, making this whole case moot. The judge would be like, you can't take them. They're witnesses. They're illegal aliens. They're not witnesses. They're witnesses to a fake thing that's made up because they came across the border as illegal witnesses. No, sorry. Yeah, we took them back. I don't think they're going to make it. Sorry, Judge Deborah Boardman, you're going to be, yet once again, bored. And probably no man wants you, so I don't know where that part comes in. America First Legal and Boyden Gray PLLC, they just filed an amicus brief in the U.S. District Court, the Western District of Washington, on behalf of Jim Jordan and 17 members, 17 members of Congress to defend President Trump's executive order on birthright. Again, going back to the same thing, these people in Maryland or wherever the hell that was, yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. Sorry, those people, Homan's going to show up and take that lady back home. There you go. Yeah, no, sorry. Bye-bye. And again, it's a shame. Kind of. If you would have stayed quiet, who knows? You could have had your kid, and maybe your kid wouldn't have been legal, but you'd still be here and nobody would know. But you made a bunch of noise because somebody said, I'll give you some money. Or maybe their coyotes cartel made them. Who knows? Whatever the case is. President Trump signs an executive order withdrawing the United States from the United Nations Human Rights Council. Pull this out. Ending all funding. I guess we'll play this. I got a few Trump things. Let's check it out.
In light of numerous actions taken by a number of bodies at the United Nations, which exhibited deep anti-American bias, we have an executive order prepared for your attention that would withdraw the United States from the UN Human Rights Council, would withdraw the United States from the UNRWA, which is a refugee organization, and would also review American involvement in UNESCO, which has also exhibited anti-American bias. More generally, the executive order calls for a review of American involvement and funding in the UN in light of the wild disparities in levels of funding among different countries that, as you've expressed previously, is deeply unfair to the United States.
So I've always felt that the UN has tremendous potential. It's not living up to that potential right now. It really isn't, hasn't for a long time. It has, there are great hopes for it, but it's not being well run, to be honest, and they're not doing the job. A lot of these conflicts that we're working on should be settled, or at least we should have some help in settling them. We never seem to get help. That should be the primary purpose of the UN, the United Nations. And again, it's got great potential, and based on the potential, we'll continue to go along with it, but they got to get their act together.
Got to get their act together. Those are words to live by. Here's more Trump talking more crazy What's this one about? Talking about the kickbacks that our government officials are receiving through USAID. See, here's the thing, and this is why all the Dems are freaking out. It's why I played all that crap before. Couldn't stay quiet even for that matter. Because they are getting kickbacks. All of them. Well, all the ones that are crying. Yeah, we shut off their piggy bank big time. And it's going to start to show because one of the things that's funny when people get used to money, like, oh, it's guaranteed salary versus like where you literally got to go out and hustle, if you will, right? That guaranteed salary, you start to get complacent. You start to auto spend it before it's even here. But then all of a sudden, if it gets removed, creates a huge dilemma. You either got to downsize quickly or you're toast. That's all there is to it. So this is going to cause problems for many, many people. And we'll get to kind of enjoy that aspect of it too, as people literally implode and crumble before our eyes. And it's really, here's the thing, it's only happening to people that are dicks, had a chance to make a different change, had a choice, had a chance to care about you and I, but chose not to, over and over and over and over and over and over. Well, what they say, the chicken comes home to roost, right? And just to add a weird analogy, shame there's a horse head in the bed. That's not cool. Anyway, here's Trump talking about all this.
Elon Musk, thank you, Star. On Elon Musk, how often are you talking to him? And have there been ideas that he's brought to you that you've said, oh no, wait a minute, this is going a little too far?
Well, many ideas, but look, he's done a great job. Look at all the fraud that he's found in this USAID. It's a disaster what the people, radical left lunatics, they have things that nobody would have even believed. The whole thing with $100 million spent on you know what, with money going to all sorts of groups that shouldn't deserve to get any money, with the money. I'd like to see what the kickbacks are. How much money has been kicked back? Who would spend that kind of money to some of the things that you read about and I read about and I see every night on the news and every morning when I read the papers? Who would spend money for that? I would say this, the people that got all that money, are they kicking it back to the people that gave it from government? No, that's, to me, very, very corrupt. The real question is, how much of a kickback has there been? And one of the things I want to investigate rapidly, because I've never seen anything to this extent, the train that's being built between Los Angeles and San Francisco is the worst managed project I think I've ever seen, and I've seen some of the worst. Billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars over budget. In fact, I read where you could take every single person that was going to go on the train and get the finest limousine service in the world and take them back and forth with limousines, and you'd have hundreds of billions of dollars left over. It is the worst thing, and we're going to start an investigation of that because it's not possible. I built for a living, and I built on time, on budget. It's impossible that something could cost that much. And now it's not even going to San Francisco, and it's not going to Los Angeles. They made it much shorter. We're going to start a big investigation on that because I've never seen anything like it. Nobody has ever seen anything like it, but they found great things. Look at the list of things. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I'll read off a list of 15 or 20 things that they found inside of the USAID. It has to be corrupt. Nobody could approve that. They could only approve that if they were getting kickbacks. You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars.
And it sounds like you're going to wind down USAID.
Yeah, sounds like it. I mean, I think so. Yeah.
So when that happens, which part of the government?
Well, I could see Marco Rubio being in charge, State Department, because they're giving money to. I mean, some of the money is well spent, I guess, but much of it is really fraudulent.
Now, obviously, somewhat dated because he's got Marco Rubio in charge now. Here is talking more about the uncovering of the wasteful spending that is happening, and DOGE is doing a great job.
Elon Musk, how often are you talking to him? And have there been ideas that he's brought to you that you've said, oh...
we already played this. All right, good. At least I caught it early. Here is them. Who is this? Fox News talking about allegations detailed newly unsealed Epstein court documents that Pam Bondi might actually start looking into Bill Clinton, Epstein's plane trips. That'd be weird, wouldn't it? Previous presidents, so far in the past. It's okay at this point, right? Because you guys went after Trump, so we can go after people that look like they were doing some pretty scandalous shit.
Well, we know he was on the plane, not only on the plane a couple times, multiple times. He traveled internationally with Jeffrey Epstein, and he was on the plane called the Lolita Express because it supposedly had a bed in there where Jeffrey Epstein had young girls. He has been a friend of his, a continuing friend of his for years and years. Contrast that with Donald Trump, who hasn't spoken to him in many years, over a decade, after he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago for bad behavior. So that's the difference there. And I think Americans see the two-tier justice system. But, you know, we don't know. They're saying Clinton has not been to his private island, but he has traveled all over the world with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know why AG Garland and the Justice Department are so quiet on this tonight. You know, they're out there labeling parents domestic terrorists, yet they're saying nothing about this. And these documents were so slow to come out. Human trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar business in this country, and Jeffrey Epstein is dead, and Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for 20 years where she belongs. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well.
She was the one I was thinking of that that was saying the name wrong. Ghislaine. I love that. Ghislaine. And maybe that's on purpose. I like it because she's awesome. She can mispronounce my name wrong on Gurdan. She can say it however she wants. I don't even care. Army recruiting shatters records after President Trump election win. Like that, and the fact that we're changing things, but literally now all of a sudden people want to be part of the military. I'm sure some of the DEI stuff was a big part of it. I'm sure there was a big drop in people that are like, I want to go transgender and I want you to pay for it. That's done. That ain't happening no more. We are changing the world, folks. I want to remind you guys about this product. I haven't talked about it in a long time. I hope they're not mad at me, and I apologize. They're just a freaking awesome product. This company, it's Energy, I-N-E-R-G-Y, Energy Tech, T-E-K, Energy Tech. They have the most amazing batteries for if you're RVing, if you're going out, because these batteries, one, hold a crap ton, 1,500 watts, and then you can take spikes up to 3,000, and it's shielded, by the way, so which means it's got a metal case around it. In case something weird happens, EMP or something, this is actually shielded. Now the stuff that's plugged into it, and that creates some issues, but the actual unit itself. And how it works, the bottom's the battery. You can actually get stacks of those if you need to. The top's what they call the head unit, and it's what controls everything. So you can do a lot of crazy stuff. You can also bring in solar with these things. The panels that you can set up, the max number, you can actually charge it faster than you can indoors. Literally, with solar. You can do it in about 4 hours. You can charge this thing to full capacity, at least with one battery. I'm not sure how that works when you've got multiple batteries. But you can do that way faster. Normal charge, like this thing's toast and empty, and I'm plugging it into the 12 volt. I don't know, I think it was 12, 16 hours, probably like about that, 16 I think. And solar, you can do it in 4. Which, again, you don't have a lot of time. But you also have the max array of photovoltaics. You got to be, like, insane about it. Most of us just get one panel, one set of panels, I should say. And I've got that. It's awesome. And you can do a lot with that. You can charge this thing a bunch. Laptop, stuff like that. But literally, I've run a flat screen TV with it. Like, a big one. Like, it ran it fine. You can run refrigerators. You have a problem with your power for some reason. Plug all your stuff into this thing. This powerful product. It's Energy Tech. Energy Tech. I-N-E-R-G-Y Tech. T-E-K. Go to energytech.com/on the fringe. Really, if you put the on the fringe in there, or at least use coupon code on the fringe when you go to Energy Tech, you're going to help out the channel, obviously. And I really want you guys to be helped out with a product that's huge if the lights go out. And that can mean a lot of things. energytech.com/on the fringe. energytech.com/on the fringe. At least check it out. They've got a whole bunch of really cool stuff. They've got smaller ones, like I think they got 1,000 and whatnot. They've got other really, really cool products. Seriously, come check out the site. Go to energytech.com/on on the Fringe, and you will be surprised at some of the really cool stuff. These guys make stuff for the military, by the way. They're American-made, make stuff for the military. Yeah, all that. Probably should have said that earlier, but still, energytech.com/on the Fringe. Check them out. That said, we've got a lot more, actually. Hurting time-wise, I guess. We'll see. A reporter yells to President Trump, the Prime Minister wants you to strike Iran. This is actually pretty funny because Netanyahu, look at his expression when Trump responds to this person and then like kind of after. But Netanyahu, a lot of people are like, I don't know, he seems to be under Trump's umbrella, if you will, which to me implies, I don't want to say control because that seems demeaning, right? But kind of, right? I mean, that's all. I'm just saying. I didn't want to,
So, Mr. President, the Prime Minister wants you to strike Iran. That's what he wants.
You don't know what he wants. What do you know about anything? Go ahead.
Yeah, the dude's like, yeah, he wants to attack. Reporter yells, the Prime Minister wants to strike Iran. He's like, I'm sitting here with the Prime Minister. You're an idiot. Shut up. No, you're wrong. Ducey says, President Trump, Iran and their proxies have threatened to kill you and the team. Trump's response is kind of a trip. And a lot of people, I think, are, I don't know, sketching on this, to use old terms, but tripping out, sketching, weirding out. I don't know. Try to use terms that even people that don't speak English, really.
Why is Iran happy to sign it if it's Iran and their proxies who have threatened to retaliate against you and your team by killing you guys for taking out Soleimani?
Well, they haven't done that, and that would be a terrible thing for them to do, not because of me. If they did that, they would be obliterated. That would be the end. I've left instructions. If they do it, they get obliterated. There won't be anything left.
Why is Iran happy to?
Yeah, obliterated. If they do that, they will be obliterated. Iran's not going to fall into that trap. This is the deep state. Of course, they're going to pretend to be Iran, but it ain't going to happen. And Iran's not going to be any back-end part of it. They're pulling back. Donald Trump, truth this out. I want Iran to be a great and successful country, but one that cannot have a nuclear weapon. Reports that the United States, working in conjunction with Israel, is going to blow Iran into smithereens are greatly exaggerated. I would much prefer a verified nuclear peace agreement which will let Iran peacefully grow and prosper. We should start working on it immediately and have a big Middle East celebration when it is signed and completed. God bless the Middle East. And this is one of the main reasons why Truth Social exists. Trump has the ability to post his story, not what everybody wants it to be, not how everybody wants to spin it. And then they kill the platform that had the video, or YouTube takes it down, or however. They do it all the time. Trump's like, no, I'll put it up on my own thing. F you. And doing quite well with it, right? Trump says Palestinians have no alternative but to leave Gaza, and he would like to see Jordan and Egypt take them. This is a big deal because we got a few countries right now that are saying, hell no. I guess those are coming up next, but Saudi Arabia and somebody else is pissed off about it. We'll get there. In the Middle East, they're like, Saudi Arabia, I think, just wants to be part of it. The other group, I don't know. Trump says he's got an interesting idea, and I be honest. This is an area in the world that is super close to like Jerusalem, which for three major religions on this planet is a sacred and holy place. Three major religions. Most of the planet. This should be a place for a beautiful kind of concept. And then be close, because Gaza Strip's very close, obviously, to Jerusalem. Doesn't put everybody right in Jerusalem, but you can start to kind of really celebrate this holy town for what it really should be, which is not necessarily this war-torn part of the world, but something that's actually celebrated and enjoyed and revered and appreciated by a majority of the world's population. It would be insane. It would instantly transform the entire part of the world. It's been war-torn forever. Everyone always says they'll never stop. They hate each other. This would stop it. This is brilliant.
To follow up on what you were saying about the Gazans leaving Gaza, going to other countries, one, where exactly are you suggesting that they should go? And two, are you saying they should return after it's rebuilt? And if not, who do you envision living there?
I envision a world, people living there, the world's people. I think you'll make that into an international, unbelievable place. I think the potential in the Gaza Strip is unbelievable. And I think the entire world, representatives from all over the world will be there, and they'll live there. Palestinians also. Palestinians will live there. Many people will live there. But they've tried the other, and they've tried it for decades and decades and decades. It's not going to work. It didn't work. It will never work. And you have to learn from history. History has, you just can't let it keep repeating itself. We have an opportunity to do something that could be phenomenal. And I don't want to be cute. I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad. This could be so magnificent. But more importantly than that is the people that have been absolutely destroyed that live there now can live in peace in a much better situation, because they're living in hell. And those people will now be able to live in peace. We'll make sure that it's done world class. It'll be wonderful for the people. Palestinians mostly we're talking about. And I have a feeling that despite them saying no, I have a feeling that the king in Jordan and that the general president, but that the general in Egypt will open their hearts and will give us the kind of land that we need to get this done. And people can live in harmony and in peace. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, harmony and peace. Like, it literally can happen. There's people that don't want it. Oh, that shouldn't have been there, but that's fantastic. There's people that don't. Oh, because of this. Yeah, this was the story that I'm like, it's almost a cool way to get around paywalls. Mideast powers reject Trump proposal to take over Gaza. So the Mideast is against it. Saudi Arabia is one. They said, no, we want a two-state thing, but the two-state thing's never worked. My guess is at least from the standpoint of Saudi Arabia, that they want to be a part of it. And I think that's actually going to be a common thing. I think a lot of the world should come in and invest in this. Should the United States own it? I don't think so. Should we maybe help manage the world owning it instead of UN or any of those crazy people? That makes sense to me anyway. I don't know. So we'll see how this plays out. Russia's rejected U.S. President Donald Trump's plan to take over Gaza, so Russia's not happy with this. They're like, no, a two-state solution is the only way. We must have two states. I don't think they have a lot of say in the matter, but they kind of do. Multipolar world, it's supposed to be three poles. Kind of this one falls into Russia's area. Whatever the case is, we seem to be taking, well, Trump seems to be, you guys, us, are taking it away from the deep state. We own it now. We're holding the hot potato. Yeah. Right? It's, oh my God. Yeah, well, this is in our hands now. We'll see. Congress puts a hold on Trump's $1 billion arms sale to Israel. Whatever. This is Congress. There's a Foreign Affairs Committee. They seem to be able to somewhat block this. My guess is we ultimately can pull the votes together to unblock it. So whatever, this is something crazy they're doing. The money's not going to be blocked, but people need to be able to come back from vacation or whatever the hell's happening. They've already struck articles of impeachment. It was not really worth playing the whole thing. It's 2+ minutes of this guy, and I wanted to give him his moment. I don't have to in any way, shape, or form. I'm not a broadcast station, so I don't have to give equal time. But, I like to cover their side every once in a while. The movement to impeach the president has begun. A rise to announce that I will bring articles of impeachment against the president for dastardly deeds proposed and dastardly deeds done. Dastard man. I don't know who he is. This dude, Rep. Al Green. He's got his cane, even shakes it ferociously at some point. These people are very angry of what's going on right now, especially the fact that we've cut off a lot of their money. So they're going to bitch and cry and moan a little bit. But he's not going to get those to the floor. Mike Johnson controls that right now. And I believe we'll probably control much more of the House by the next election. This probably was in English somewhere. Did I pull it up two ways or no? Just the one way, huh? Okay, sure. In line with Trump, Milei, orders the Argentina to get out of the World Health Organization, I think it was. OMS, the Organización Mundial de Salud, isn't it of the world or some World Health Salud? Anyway, I don't know. I think that's close to that because when someone sneezes, you say salud or salute. I don't know. I'm making stuff up here. My Spanish is minimal, but I think that's kind of what it is. Anyway, Argentina's pulling out too. They're doing what Trump's doing. They're following suit, and he feels strong to do it, man. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that they're doing this. They're following suit. Javier Milei, right? So we are moving in the right direction. I swear to God, I thought that thing was in English when I first looked at it. That made it tricky. My Spanish sucks. Chupas, if you will. Greenland's prime minister announced Tuesday that the country will hold a general election on March 11th. I don't know exactly what that means, right? Like, Greenland's going to have a general election. Was for Trump? Is he allowed to be on the ballot? Think about that for a second. What if, hypothetical, I'm not saying it's happening, I'm not saying someone said this. I mean, this is me saying it. It's the first place I've seen it. But hypothetically, what if Trump's on the ballot and they all vote for Trump? What would happen then? Trump's probably already gotten on the ballot. He probably did some sneaky shit before he even started talking about it. Trump is so good at the multi-chess moves. He's like, anybody can show up on the Greenland ballot? Really? Anybody? Fuck, I'm going to get on there. And yeah, and he'll probably get the votes if it's an actual fair election. No, that's awesome. Really? Okay, translates posts. Some of these things, I'm like, come on. Russian President Vladimir Putin comments on German responsibility for World War II. He's actually talking about all the people that have white privilege of, what is it, when you're scared, right? Like, you're sad that your ancestors were horrible people. It's like, yeah, I got some shitty people in my family. Guess what? They're not me. I'm not responsible. That's what Putin's saying. He's like, you're not responsible for these people. Nobody at this time's alive from that point in time, really. None of you guys are what they were. Be who you are. Don't feel guilt about it. That was kind of cool. Kind of cool for Putin to say that. National Public Radio on Monday ran a so-called sponsor message promoting pharma giant Procter & Gamble's nerve relief drug, Nervive, whatever. It's designed to reduce occasional nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort. There's some weird-ass even things. Do you sometimes feel discomfort? Oh, take this pill. Like, huh? Everybody, what is even discomfort, first off? So they've been running this stuff. You're not allowed to run commercials on public radio. Now, what these are sponsored messages. But what they've become are commercials. And so we've got a new FCC sheriff in town. He's hardcore going after NPR. These dudes are making a bunch of money. NPR bought in $100 million from corporate sponsors in 2023, compared to only $7 million in federal funding. So they're getting a bunch of money from probably the chemical companies and like whoever wants to use this. They want to sponsor part of the program. Sponsored by the people that like to kill you in some unique kind of way. And some program plays. This is being looked into because that's an advertisement. That's exactly what that is. Public service announcements like, hey, even flu shots, actually, that used to be considered one, but like, hey, the schools are helping do a fundraiser these days, so make sure you're checking that out in your local location. Blah, blah, blah. Right? Like, I don't even know. Like, that might be okay. Like, I don't even remember, like, what fundraiser, because I think about a lot of the ones we did back in the day, and I'm like, we were always kind of sort of promoting something. Always. Unless it was like a church, but those got very specific, but whatever. DOGE aids search Medicare agency payment system for fraud. Again, people are going to start to panic about this. We're digging into everything, folks. Medicare. They're going after that. Medicare, which would in fact include Medicaid. They're going after the payment system. People that aren't getting paid, people that shouldn't be getting paid. Think about how much money we pay to people that shouldn't even be getting paid, and how many of you guys have a hard time actually getting your payments. Think about that. A group of 4 dads. This is pretty cool. We're at and this is in California, yo, boosha. They basically attacked a shooter without weapons. Texas, no offense, I'm just saying, I love Texas, don't get me. You guys would pull out a gun and shoot the guy. But they took him down. Nobody died, and this is an old man. Weird ass story, but kind of cool because it's for veterans. And thank you guys for your service. Check this out. This is cool as hell.
A follow-up tonight to breaking news about gunfire last night at a Pasadena high school. It was a group of Pearland band dads who intervened to subdue the shooter, and their quick actions may have prevented a larger tragedy. Fox 26's Abigail Dye reports.
We told you during breaking news how a man walked into Pasadena Memorial High School right here behind me on Saturday night during a band competition and opened fire. One bullet hit a door and the other hit a 26-year-old in the shoulder. Officials say that he's an Angleton High School percussion technical who's expected to be okay. After those shots rang out, these 4 Pearland band dads from left to right, 13-year Air Force veteran Abram Trevino, 13-year Army vet Adam Carreau, 4-year Marine veteran Efrain or Polo Castillo, and 32-year Houston police veteran Joe Sanchez.
As soon as everyone was screaming, yelling, active shooter, gunshots fired, Joe and myself, we looked at each other and they ran straight to the door. And by the time that we got inside, that's when Polo and Abram was right behind us as a band dad team.
I grabbed his arms while Adam took the gun out. Then once the gun was removed from his hand, we had no handcuffs. So I took off my belt, made a handcuff.
Joe was trying to secure his right arm while I had his left arm, and Abram was on his legs. And then Adam was actually talking to 911 at that time as well.
But I think anybody with our collective backgrounds would just do that, just out of nature.
After the takedown, officials arrested 84-year-old Dennis Irwin Brandel Jr. Pasadena police say he told them that he thought he was being chased by someone who was trying to kill him and his wife. He drove from his house in Spring to Pasadena. Pasadena police say that the Harris County District Attorney has accepted a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon against the suspect, and they say at this point, no bond has been set.
He's a grumpy ass old man. Of course, it's aggravated assault. What the fuck? Really? Some old super geezer? Really? Crazy people are getting me. What did you? Huh? Got your meds out of mess, huh? Fudge. That's just ridiculous. I mean, I feel bad. It's super bad. No one died, thank God. Thank God. Proud Boys changed their name. So apparently, the courts took away their trademark Proud Boys away, and they gave it to this Metropolitan African Methodist Episcopal Church, which is quite the mouthful, by the way. Gave it to them, I guess, for some reason, which seems illegal in and of itself. Proud Boys have changed their name to African Methodist Episcopal Boys. After the D.C. judge rules it's no longer has control over its trademark. How's that legal? The trademark used to be yours, yeah, but you did something stupid, so we're taking your trademark away. How? It's mine. You can tell me not to use it, maybe, I guess, but how can you take it from me? I mean, they're doing it to Alex Jones, too. I don't think any of that shit's legal by any stretch, but here we are. Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. Super Bowl's going to end zone, or its end zone's now going to have less stupid shit written in it. I guess they used to be end racism and stuff like that, right? So now they're going to do choose love and it takes all of us are going to be the things that they're actually going to have featured in this Super Bowl. If you think about it, that's pretty cool. Choose love. It's never a bad thing. That's never a bad choice, right? You could be in the most violent of situations, but you're like, this fellow human being I'm about to kill. I might stop you from killing him. Choke him out instead, right? That's my karate guy taught me. Never kill if you can maim, never maim if you can hurt, never hurt if you can walk away. So, yeah, sometimes, all said, it takes all of us. Yeah, that's another thing. All of us working together is what this whole new paradigm is going to be. It's going to be a beautiful thing. Mitch McConnell fell down the stairs. From what I understand, he fell down multiple times, and they just shoved him in a chair and be like, "Get the fuck out of that chair and I'll punch you in the face, Mitch." I don't know if they said that, but probably. Keep falling, dumbass, right? Like, I don't even know. We'll do something. We'll put a big giant body, what are they, Rappian bubble wrap mofo? Dude's out of control. And I don't think he's long for this world, folks. I mean, just to be honest, God's going to work in mysterious ways. And Mitch, I mean, you know, your wife's kind of cute. Tell her to call me if you want. I'm happy to try to help out however I can, you know. Diddy raped 2 women in Trump hotel penthouse. So this is the main reason I brought this up, by the way. I mean, this just sounds crazy. And I hope this doesn't actually happen. But I think you guys will appreciate just the straying off the reservation for a moment. Sean Diddy Combs has been accused of sexually assaulting 2 women at Trump's hotel in New York City. How much do you guys wonder that there's somebody in New York City trying to figure out how they can charge Trump? Literally. Can we go after Trump for criminal negligence? News at 11. They're looking at it. It's insane to me. I'm having a good time. I don't know about you guys, but I love this whole concept. I love the fact that we're moving at such a rapid pace right now. And by the way, the sun's been doing some crazy-ass stuff. I didn't even look at it again today. I almost kind of want to. We'll pull it up really fast and see if there's anything crazy. Maybe I need to play it right now. Let's see. Oh, solar eruptions, more. So yeah, let's check it out. It's been crazy lately.
Good morning, folks. Welcome, observers. Today we've got more than usual to cover. We've got seismicity, weather, a triple dose of eye candy, a couple important announcements at the end, but we are starting, as always, with the last 24 hours on our star. We find continued solar flaring, plasma filament eruptive activity, next coronal hole, big, dark, turning in from the left. There isn't anything significant on its way to Earth here, and by tonight, the northern sunspot group will be departing. There is still Delta-class magnetism in the trailing cores, but so far its flaring has been moderate at worst. The plasma filament that erupted on the southern departing quadrant will not hit Earth, but boy does it show us why we have to monitor those filaments. Several more on the sun right now, including a couple directly facing the Earth. Seismic nota.
All right, so yeah, crazy stuff. Bunch of earthquakes down here, by the way. There's a volcano they're thinking, and I was right the other day when I said Crete. I was thinking, yeah, I forgot about Sicily. And anyway, good friends that are Sicilian too, and it hit me later. I was like, oh. Anyways, whatever. My good friend at the restaurant that I go to frequently is Sicilian, so always good times. But Crete has been having a huge number of volcanic things going on, so we're looking at a lot. And the sun has been crazy. It shot a bunch of goo at us, but nothing too big. But it's all going to hit us kind of similar times. That's the thing. And I don't know if he did an update video last night or what, but maybe I should have watched the whole thing. But there is, it's not going to be anything groundbreaking. I think we probably see some aurora borealis much further south for the most part. But it should be an interesting show. Yeah, we got a lot happening. And again, how the big picture plays out. There's so many things we can talk about one of these days when things get crazy or serious. Don't worry, we're okay. Let's understand that, right? If the polls shifting and all that, we'll be okay. It's all going to work out. This is all, we got backup plans beyond backup plans, and we'll talk about that when the day has to come, if it needs to. I don't think we'll need to, but what we're dealing with right now is taking back control of the big picture so we can start to shift humanity towards the light, and at which time that's actually going to get us all through the next loop together. And that's a big part of what we're trying to do. That's where I think I start to really come into play. We'll see if that actually plays out to be true, but I don't believe there's anybody else that's bringing to the table what I am. So we'll see. But it's going to be a joyous excursion together. And I look forward to as many of you guys cruising with me as you want. I'm going to continue to work with you and help as much. And we need to ripple the hell out of this because we are the media now. So please help us with that endeavor. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.